Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, it is after 12, so it is afternoon. Yesterday was kind of a busy day. We had an adventure. One of the many things about Hygge, since a lot of my videos lately have been Hygge, I'm incorporating Hygge in every possible way. One of the main things about Hygge is going out and having a good time, having an adventure. It does not always mean going into the woods. You can have a Hygge day just by going out and doing something fun and enjoyable. So that's exactly what we did. Mom has been wanting to go to Springfield, Missouri, to the Battlefield Mall for quite some time. Slightly disappointing because one of the things that she wanted to go into Battlefield Mall for was there was a place called Doc Pops. It was a popcorn shop. Well, they're no longer in the mall. We don't know where they are. I might, just for the thrill of looking stuff up, look up if they're still somewhere here in Missouri. They might be in one of the 3 malls in St. Louis. I don't know. But Mom and Jerry got to do some shopping. They picked up a bunch of stuff they've been looking for or wanted or whatnot. And on the way home, if anybody is familiar with the I-44 corridor between Rolla, Missouri, or St. Louis and Springfield, there's a little gas station with a Route 66 antique mall, which has a lot of like different merchandise from t-shirts to memorabilia to just all kinds of different little things to pick up. Souvenirs for being on Route 66, which basically I-44 is parts of it is is Route 66. They just made it into I-44, and then like Route 66 dips away from I-44 into some of the smaller towns and communities. In fact, downtown Rolla is considered part of old Route 66 because it was just the way Route 66 curves off of what would be I-44 through Rolla, along I-44 for the most part to various parts of Missouri. But there's a little place called Redmond's. You can see the signs advertising it with the little guy. And I got myself some... I'm just doing this. This is how much of junk or goodies or sweets that I got. And they have everything from various flavors of saltwater taffy to fudge to popcorn. In fact, one of my favorite popcorns from Redmond's is their barbecue cheddar flavored popcorn. But they got your classic caramel corn and various different flavors. They even got a bacon flavored popcorn and a taco flavored popcorn and just various flavors from the popcorn that you can put on popcorn, from caramel corn, sour apple flavored caramel corn, classic caramel corn. They even had a banana split flavored caramel corn, and I just kind of went, no, I'm getting enough sugary stuff. I don't need extra. But the thing is, let's see if I can pull out a variety of stuff just to show off what they have. They've got like your saltwater taffy chews. I got a couple pieces of banana flavor. That's not even... I'm trying to get a variety, and I got like a handful of the same stuff. No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. Sorry, folks. I should have planned this out a little bit better. Kind of spur of the moment. Then they have these little hard candies. These little suck-on hard candies. If you can tell by the shape of this and did not guess, it's a watermelon flavored hard candy. I love those because I love the flavor of watermelon. Then, of course, they had like little blocks of the Annie's mints. They had peanut butter cups. They had a variety of different other candies that I opted not to. I wanted to get a small selection of things that I really like that I can't get a lot of. Then they had their saltwater taffy, made right there on the premises. This, not vanilla, eggnog flavored taffy. You can get it any time of the year. Let's see here. If I'm not mistaken, this one is like a apple pie flavored. Then they have lemon meringue flavored. Actually, that wasn't lemon meringue. I didn't get lemon meringue. Banana cream pie flavored. That's what I was thinking of. This is actually a banana split flavored taffy. I can't remember what this one is, so I'm not even gonna worry about that one. I already talked about that one. But here's watermelon flavored saltwater taffy. Yeah. So I got myself a small variety of these taffies that I don't get that often. But I like them every so often because I can chew on them. It helps exercise my jaw and keeps my jaw from being cramped up or locked up or anything like that. But like I said, I got a small. I didn't go crazy. Let's just put it this way. Last time I went to Redmond's before I started my diet, the bag would be full up to here. Well, I got about half of the bag. Normally the bag would be, or I got a quarter of the bag. Normally the bag would be anywhere from half to 3/4 of the way full of just, I would just like literally dig my big old hand in there and throw a whole bunch of each kind that I liked in there, and it would last me a very long time. This one is a quarter of the way full, and I'm hoping to make it stretch as far as possible before it starts to get too hard or too bitter. Yes, they do get bitter after a while. But I didn't go crazy. In fact, I didn't really get anything that I was thinking about getting for two reasons. One, I didn't see anything in any of the places we went. Two, I opted not to go to the bookstore because I have books. I've got plenty of books to read. That, in fact, are most of the stuff that I want that I can get online. We did get a membership for very, very inexpensive membership to Sam's Club. And with the membership that we got, we can order online and have them shipped to us for pennies on the dime, basically. The good thing about Sam's Club is like the items that we did order and picked up and just went and picked up at Sam's Club was a big giant pack of paper towels for the house, because we use paper towels for everything. We use it for wrapping our herbs and our lettuces and whatnot to keep them fresher longer. We use them for cleaning. Paper towels around here get used up a lot for a lot of different cleaning projects, especially. Then we ordered gallon size and quart size Ziploc bags, and it comes in a case of 4, and they're like industrial size 4-packs. So we use the Ziploc bags from everything from leftovers to we'll like buy a head of lettuce or a 3-pack of romaine, and we'll slice that up and throw it and wrap it up in paper towels and put it in the Ziploc bag or layers of paper towels. One, it keeps it fresher, because one of the biggest things about produce, especially lettuce, leafy greens, herbs, and certain other various vegetables and whatnot for produce is, one, when you cut it up and put it in a Ziploc bag, you can push the air out, because the two biggest harmful things for produce is air and moisture. Certain kinds of herbs and whatnot need a small amount of moisture, but they don't need a lot of the air, because when you introduce either moisture or air to certain kinds of herbs and spices and produce, they don't last as long. They spoil a little bit faster. In the past, we've noticed that a head of lettuce will only last us a week, maybe less, because not in an environment or a container that keeps it from getting too moist or too much oxygen. So basically, we learned that when we cut up romaine lettuce or cabbage or peppers, especially, and wrap them in, or put them in layers in a Ziploc bag, layers of paper towels. Like you put down a certain amount of lettuce or whatnot, put a paper towel, then more, and then another paper towel. It lasts twice as long as it would normally. So it's one of those things that's like, wow, if I knew about this way back when I was single and enjoyed eating salads more than I do now, I have to get back in the habit of eating more salads. I really do. It helps me out in so many different ways. It's amazing. It amazes me, and I forgot all about that because, and this is no pointing the finger or blaming any individual person, but when I moved to New York, there was not as many salads, just plain up, straight up salads. It was various vegetables mixed into certain dishes that I didn't quite care for. I'd pick out the meat and not eat the vegetables because of the way they were prepped, and that was just me being picky. I'm not as picky as I used to be. Unfortunately, I fell back a little bit during Jerry Ann's depression because it's not that I didn't want to cook or prep the vegetables. It was just more like, I'm working, I'm coming home, Jerry's not feeling, I have to cook something for dinner. What am I going to cook? Let's just cook something quick and easy. I keep on forgetting, I had already started my Nordic diet and all the Nordic foods and whatnot that I was trying to eat. And then she got into a depression because of her brother-in-law, her brother passing. I got into a depression because she was depressed. And we stopped doing as much Nordic stuff as we were before that time. So now it's like, okay, we're all starting to feel better. We're all starting to feel a little less depressed. Yes, we still have our days, but let's get back on healthy eating and Nordic foods. Not that we weren't eating healthy, it's just a lot of the foods that we were eating were quick and easy. And a lot of times quick and easy vegetables for me are just kind of like, don't have the right texture, doesn't have the flavor I enjoy, doesn't have the crunch I enjoy. It's, it's one of those things where it's like, just the food was just not processed. It's just the way things were happening. But anyhow, today is the day after our day of adventure, and Jerry's feeling the burn, as I call it. Basically, Jerry did a lot more than I expected her to do. A lot more walking around, a lot more up on her feet. So it took a toll on her. So she said that she wanted the day to relax and just recuperate. And I was kind of like, okay, you can have your day to relax and recuperate. But if I feel like I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm sorry. I've gotten to the point where it's like, I don't know why I'm sitting around doing nothing when I've got the energy or the gumption or the desire or whatever categories that make me go, get up, let's do something. And that, in fact, I will tell you this much. Even though I have not gotten out and done a lot of walking and whatnot, reading the book How to Hygge or Hygge makes me go, I'm alive. I'm getting revitalized. I'm not going out. All these ideas are great and awesome, and everybody's willing to work with me to implement certain things. And when I get this way, I get this whole like renewed energy, and it's like, you guys can sit down. I'm going to go flying around the house doing whatever I want to do, whatever I feel like I need to do, whatever I can do. There are times where it's just like physically my body goes, I hear what you're saying, but knees aren't going to be working that well, or the back is going to start not wanting to bend, basically, at the waist. So if my knees or my back feel like I can't do it, I'm just like, okay, what can I do to use all this energy? And I get creative. I come in here and I start working on stuff that's creative. I know a lot of people are like, Dungeons and Dragons, why do you play that? That's not a good game. Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Everything, excuse me, my arm is wanting to be under the table getting pinched by the chair and the table. Everything has its good points and its bad points. It's all dependent on the individual or individuals who are participating in the activity. And I'll explain why. Because this is for everything. I have learned that it's for everything, that most Christians would go, oh, that's against the Bible. There's nothing in the Bible that says that you can't play D&D. There's nothing in the Bible that says you cannot participate or practice or learn about other religions as long as you're rooted in Christianity. There's nothing in the Bible that I've seen so far, and I've read the Bible multiple times, that says that I cannot learn how to use natural herbs and remedies and whatnot for my health. In fact, how do you think most people stayed healthy back in the Bible times? They used various elements, natural elements in their world, whether it was plant life or otherwise, to stay healthy. One of the reasons why, according to history, we have never ever seen any major health issues until the plague, or various types of issues that people call the plague, wasn't just the lack of understanding of science. It was the fact that, well, back then, everybody lived in harmony with nature, and if you were doing something that was not good, you suffered from some sort of ailment. Whether you weren't doing enough, or you were doing too much, or you happened to just get into an area that you shouldn't have gotten into and you got sick because of it. That's basically nature protecting herself from harm, and basically, maybe it wasn't something that they did in nature. Maybe it was something that had to do with food that they ate, or, well, that would be considered nature. Yeah, no, actually, that would be considered ill-prepped food. Food-borne bacteria or illnesses. There's a lot of rhyme or reason why people got sick back then, but most of it was not because of the same things that we have in modern day age. A lot of the sicknesses back then were physical. If it was mental, it could have been something just wrong with that person. Nowadays, there's mass illnesses, there's health issues that were never heard of until people stopped getting out in nature and were city bound, or one reason or another, they were stressed by their new life. Both science, both mental health science and medical professions, as well as what most people would call a naturalist, somebody who deals with nature and natural phenomena and whatnot, would tell you that nearly 90% of any modern day mental illness or physical illness connected to a mental issue would be because of the fact that they're not living Hygge. They're not getting out and enjoying the sun or anything like that, which I kind of wish they would have said something to me and Mom way back after my dad died, when I was starting to suffer from manic depression and suicidal thoughts and whatnot. When my mental issues started, becoming so overwhelming that I had to go see a psychiatrist. I wish the psychiatrist would have said, you need to go and find yourself a happy place and go there every so often to enjoy nature or whatnot. And I would have been like, Mom, we need to move out of Arizona because it's too hot. I wish we knew that we needed to move out of Arizona before we finally moved out of Arizona, because Mom and I came to Missouri for a family member, one of her aunts passed away, so we came to Missouri to be here for the funeral and whatnot. And Mom and I were basically Mom, myself, my uncle, one of my, I think one or two or both my aunts from Mom's side of the family, and maybe a cousin or two, went for a walk in a park. And in that park, they were having a open air musical. It was an orchestra type thing going on. And we stopped to listen, and we were out there enjoying nature, beautiful weather. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too muggy, it was a little chilly for Mom, but we were not in our dress clothes, because I would not have sat down on the ground in dress clothes. But I sat down on the ground, leaned up against a tree, and looked up at Mom and said, why are we still living in Arizona when we can be out here enjoying the weather, enjoying not sweltering heat or extreme extreme humidity? Of course, that was also about the same time I was reading a lot of Mary Summer Rain books and wanted to move to Colorado. So that's what spurred the whole let's move to Missouri ordeal. It took us about 2 years to do that, because trying to get our house sold in Arizona and moving out here to find a place, and just a lot of different things happening that kind of prolonged the process of moving out here. But I wanted to move to Colorado, but the thing was, the one time that Mom and I visited Colorado with one of my dad's side of the family cousins, it was early spring, and it was still bitter cold for Mom, but chilly for me. I was like, I guess because of the fact that we went to visit Colorado at the wrong time of year, we weren't climatized, which means we were still used to the desert warmth. So the high 50s, low 60s for early morning temperature was too cold for us. Nowadays, it's a little chilly for me, but it's still too cold for Mom. Otherwise, Jenny and I have talked about it a couple times, especially since she started menopause. She's like, I'm ready for Colorado. And I'm like, Mom might not be, but give me the word, and we'll, just the two of us will go out there and you know, figure out a way of life. But we kind of grounded ourselves going, well, at this point in time, that would be a no-go. Of course, I joked with her because one of her viewers who she talks to on a personal basis, or a personal level, not just on YouTube. She's got like one or two of them that live up in like, I can't remember if it was Michigan or Minnesota. In fact, I think she now views my channel, so if you know who you are, you can say hi. Just to let me know exactly what state you're in. You don't have to tell me exact location, just state. I'm not going to give you very much detail, because I don't have very much detail about this person. I just know she's helped Jerry Ann out through conversations. So I'm glad she has some good friends. She has her friend who lives up north that she talks to a lot, that I know about. She actually has had phone conversations as well as texting conversations with Mary Fry, because they just click. A lot of people that she has, excuse me, my back is itchy. A lot of people that she has conversations on and off the web, or texting, Facebook, however method they talk. I'm very happy. I mean, they click. So I'm happy for her that she's getting friends. She's understanding or learning how to have friends other than her besties from New York that she still talks to, goes visits, and both these besties don't live in New York anymore. There's her friend down in Texas and her friend down in Florida. I'm not mentioning names because Last time I started mentioning people's names, not the people I mentioned, but other people got a little huffy about it, and I went, I know these people personally, so get off your bandwagon. But I'm happy that she's getting friends that she talks to on a regular basis outside of people she already knows personally. Not that I'm asking people to try to text me or try to have personal conversations off the YouTube, like direct messaging or whatnot. But I'm extremely happy for her. Now, Jerry's had enough conversations with Mary Fry to know Mary and Peter, and I'm saying their names because they're on YouTube. You can go watch their videos if you want to. She suffers from CF. I think that's right. CF? She's got a couple of different health issues, and one of them is difficult breathing. She has to have a special vest that massages her lungs or whatnot through vibration. Jerry bought a bunch of purple flowers and wreaths and whatnot to make CF awareness, because May is CF Awareness Month. So she's making some wreaths and whatnot for CF. One or two of her sisters has suffered from, not really CF, but they've had similar problems or something like that. I'm not sure. But she was talking about making wreaths for her sisters, and I'm like, is it because, and I'm going to say the name because Janie's been in a lot of our videos. Janie, which is the oldest sister out of the four girls. Janie, Alicia, Julie, and Jerry. Jerry's the baby out of the girls. Her brother-in-law who passed away, Robert, was the baby of the family. He was what they call a miracle child because, one, their mother, they didn't think their mother could have another one after Jerry. But he was the baby of the family, and he was the first one to pass away because of various health issues from, now they said COVID on the death certificate, but he had some kind of issue before COVID that was some sort of blood clotting that he used to be able to cough up out of his lungs and have no problems. But I don't know the full story, so I'm not going to try to dig into that. But like I was saying, I'm happy that Jerry Ann has people like Mary Fry to talk to, and her two besties down south, and then her one YouTube friend who is up north. I don't know if it's Minnesota or Michigan, so it's one of those two. It's one of those two northern states. Both of them are. Maybe it's Michigan because there's always conversations about something about the Great Lakes. I know Michigan is on the Great Lakes and Minnesota is not. Or maybe she has one in each state. I'm not 100% sure. I don't try to keep track of everybody's friends. As for me, well, I'm like Peter Fry. Here on these videos, I can be personal, I can be upbeat, I can be, very talkative and very, very, however you want to put it. But when it comes to one-on-one or personal, I kind of become an introvert because it's like, I don't really know you, and I don't know how to talk to you because I don't know you that well, and things of that nature. So it's kind of like one of those, you're seeing the more personable, upbeat, talkative side of the coin, but if we were to talk face to face, I'd probably be a little bit of an introvert. It's taken Jerry almost 10 to 20 years to pull me out of that. Actually, it took her less because when I first got to New York, I was a true introvert. I was just kind of like, I'll answer questions, but I won't ask questions. I won't like directly engage you. And it took a while for Jerry to get me to engage her family. Engaging her father and engaging her brother her younger brother Robert, when I first got there, was easy because we lived basically in the same house. But as for her older brother, who lived upstairs, and one of her sisters who lived up the block at the time, it took a little bit longer. In fact, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a story, and I know this is already 30 minutes long. I had been with these people for 13 years before I finally broke the mold, seal, whatever you want to call it. It was the last Thanksgiving we had together before Hurricane Sandy. So it was 2011, maybe? I can't remember when Hurricane Sandy hit. I think Hurricane Sandy hit before Thanksgiving of 2012. But it was the last official Thanksgiving we had together in my father-in-law's house. And my father-in-law had passed away like the year or so earlier. And we had a gathering, and we were all sitting around. Maybe it was before he passed away. I don't remember if he was alive at the time of this conversation. But we were sitting down for Thanksgiving dinner. And my brother-in-law, who is classified as morbidly obese, he has various ailments and whatnot that I'm not going to talk about because I don't know if he wants me to put it on air. I don't even know if he listens to my videos. But I was sitting there, and he said, yeah, I weighed myself this morning, and I lost a few pounds. And my crazy, unbroken, unbridled, unfiltered mouth opened up and said, oh, is that what I heard groaning this morning? Your scale telling you to get the heck off? I didn't use the word heck, but everybody went, what? He actually made a sarcastic remark after how many years of him living here? And my brother-in-law looked at me like, ooh, come back. Okay. Like they were all surprised that I finally said something sarcastic and smart ass of my, I became myself, basically. And it was one of those like, mark this on the calendar. Jim makes smart ass remark to Pete. Okay, whatever. And I think part of it was the fact that I was at my wit's end because a lot of things were going on that year, and just all the different things going on. I think it had to do. I think it had been done, or that Thanksgiving was after after Pops passed away. Yes, I call my father-in-law Pops. That's basically what everybody calls him. Everybody, even people who aren't even related to him, his best friends, the kids of his best friends. Friends of his kids, everybody calls him Pops. And after getting to know him, after a month or so living with him, it just became natural. But it was one of those holidays where it was like, I think it had to do after Pops' passing, because everybody seemed trying to be as upbeat as possible and as positive as possible. And my crazy butt decided to go, you're going to make a comment about how much weight you lost? I'm going to make a comment about the scale you must have used, type thing. I think after that particular point, because before that point, I don't think my brother-in-law really respected me because of the fact that I was too much of an introvert for him. But I think that particular day was the day that people started going, oh, he's becoming more like us, type situation. Because in New York, if you can't fire back a sarcastic remark to somebody else's sarcastic remark or anything like that, they consider you a tourist, not a New Yorker. I never wanted to be considered a New Yorker because I don't know about upstate New York, because I've heard a lot of people from upstate New York are like, oh, we're not like that, we're not like that, we're not like that. Well, must be like the Long Island, 5 boroughs region that people are ornery, sarcastic, and rude, and all the negative stuff that I don't really like dealing with anymore, or ever. I never really liked living like that. And a little glimpse into my life. Today, like I said earlier, is going to be for Jerry Ann. It's going to be an R&R to recuperate from the aches and pains of all the extra work, movement, whatever you want to call it, physical activity that her body's not used to. I worry sometimes because the day after, I can understand you've been lethargic and non-mobile for long periods of time, and then all of a sudden you're up and moving and doing more than what your body's used to doing. It's going to cause you problems. My concern is, Spectre, that, and one of the things that I learned as a young man is when you have days like that, okay, yeah, you don't have to do as much as you were doing the day before, but you don't give your muscles a chance to get used to it by spending the rest of the day sitting on your stuff. Which I'm going to try to get her to do more than just sit around, because it's not going to do her body any good. Not that I'm trying to get down on my wife or anything like that. I just know from my own personal experiences, back before I started being an adult, I guess you'd say, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to sit around and play on a computer and watch TV all day long. I didn't want to do anything. And then when I started to actually do jobs and get work and try to hold down a job, I'd come home and my body would be like, what on God's green earth do you think you're doing? And I went, trying to do what's right. And now we go on to that front, jobs. Not that I don't want to work, not that I want to get a job outside the house, but yesterday evening, after getting back from having our adventure, we realized two things. One, we did not go above our budget. In fact, we were very below our budget, even with taking Mom out to dinner. We took her to Longhorn Steakhouse in Springfield, came home with leftovers. Mom went and we got at the mall because Mom wanted it, was bourbon chicken from, used to be called Easy Street. Now I think it's called Pan Pacific or something like that. I hope it's wind blowing stuff outside that I'm hearing. Oh, it was a truck with a trailer bouncing around outside. So we were still way below our budget. I mean, even with stopping at Redmond's and whatnot, we were below our budget because I didn't spend anything. So our budget was really low because I decided not to go to the bookstore. I decided not to go to the game store. So I didn't buy anything. And I know if I would have went to the bookstore or anything to buy stuff. Okay. I gotta quit getting distracted. So I didn't spend any money. And usually if I go to the bookstore or the game store, I spend a good $30, $40 plus dollars, easily, if I'm allowed to. So that's one of the reasons why our budget did not go above what we had originally estimated. In fact, Jerry Ann said between the two of us, she doesn't think we spent any more than maybe $30 to $50 between, and this is not counting the budget we had for food. I'm not even going to talk about that because Longhorn Steakhouse is a little bit pricey, but it's so worth it. Literally, I mean, I don't care what the price tag is for 3 people, but it was a Mother's Day treat, so Mom didn't have to fork any money over, and we had plenty enough money to do dinner and a shopping spree. But Mom got herself, can't remember if it was an 8 or 10 ounce sirloin, with Parmesan encrusted cheese on top of it, and a baked potato. I got myself Parmesan encrusted chicken. I don't care. I can eat chicken in 16 different ways within 16 days and not be sick and tired of chicken. I don't understand how people don't want to eat the same thing over and over again as long as it's like chicken. It doesn't matter how we make the chicken each day of the week. Mom doesn't want to do that. Mom wants to have like chicken, then steak, then pork, then hamburger, then chicken. She doesn't want to have it more than one day a week, one day in a row, even leftovers, unless it's like bourbon chicken. She'll eat that 5 days in a row, just bourbon chicken, and I'm like, I don't understand this woman. I know she's my mother, and I should understand her by now because I'm almost 50 and she's up there in age, and I still don't understand how she does the things that she does sometimes. But, and then Jerry had herself a 12-ounce porterhouse with, I don't know how they cooked them. She had roasted Brussels sprouts, and they were delicious. The charring on the Brussels sprout, the caramelization, the seasoning, the butter. I had a bite because she wanted me to see if I can tell what kind of spices I use because she wanted to recreate it here at home. And I'm good at eating foods and going, oh, this is what's on it. Don't know the amounts, but I can tell you the basic ingredients. And the basic ingredients on those Brussels sprouts was like garlic, onion, paprika, salt and pepper. Well, no paprika, just garlic, onion, salt, pepper, and I could not tell if that fifth spice was either oregano or some kind of flavorful seasoning. Oh, hickory smoked salt. That's what it was. Hickory smoked salt. But they had to be like either flame roasted or somehow cooked over a fire. They were not cooked in an oven or anything like that. Unless they were cooked in like the same thing that Burger King cooks their burgers, which is an open flame broiler, which just goes through on a conveyor belt, flames them up, and spits them out the other end. I know that because I used to work for them. But I had, and Jerry Ann took it home to finish it off, a sweet potato with butter, brown sugar, and cinnamon. And oh man, I could have sat there and finished my whole meal. Oh, that in fact, Jerry ordered 4 pieces of fire crackling shrimp, which is basically shrimp with butter, garlic butter, and the shrimp are cooked with I don't know if it was Cajun spices because it wasn't that spicy, but it was some sort of spices that I'm not familiar with, so it had to be some sort of like Cajun or maybe it was like chili powder and paprika, because when you put chili powder and paprika together, they almost taste identical. It tastes a little bit smokier with a little bit of a spice, and sometimes I cannot identify the two when they're mixed. I have a very refined palate, and my father had the same thing where he could eat. My father can sit down and eat a meal and go home and recreate the same meal to a T. Literally, it might have been a little bit more flavorful or less flavorful, but he would get the exact spices, the exact flavoring and whatnot. It's just because he didn't have the recipe, so he did not have measurements. My father never wrote down recipes because everything was up in his head and in his mouth. He cooked by taste. In other words, he would cook the food. It would get to a certain point of being done. He would taste it. If it did not taste like it was the same as what he tasted before, he'll add a little bit of something within the flavor palette to try to get that flavor back. But he was good at that. I am not as good as he was, but I'm close. I come close. But let's see here. What else did we do besides going to Redmond? We went to Longhorn. We went to the mall for the bourbon chicken. We went to Target. Jerry got some stuff from the Target spot. Mom was looking for particular items. She was only able to find 1 or 2 items that she wanted. The other thing that she wanted was Pillsbury makes a cream cheese filled pastry. It's flat like a little pocket that you can put in the toaster. Nobody seems to carry those no more because I think they said that they were going to... Pillsbury said you can go pick them up at like Target, Price Chopper, or online. And every time she tries to order them online, it's a no-go because how do you ship that from wherever Pillsbury is to the person that is buying it? But Mom did say that 2 years ago she got a letter from Pillsbury saying that they were going to discontinue it, yet we've been able to find it up until about a month ago at our local Price Chopper. Now it's like either strawberry and cream cheese or nada. And Mom doesn't really like hot strawberry flavoring. She likes strawberry jelly. She like, and we talked to Mom about like, we can probably make... She's found a couple recipes on TikTok from this one person that basically makes a lot of homemade goodies that you can't buy no more. And she talked about how to make a similar to Pillsbury's cream cheese filled toaster strudels. That's what they're called, toaster strudels. And basically all it is, you take crescent the tube of crescent rolls that you can buy from Pillsbury in your freezer section or your cold section. Basically what this lady did was she popped the can open. She rolled out the whole tube. She pinch closed all the areas where you're supposed to separate the crescent rolls. Lathered the top with a cream cheese type filling. Rolled it up. Sliced it, flattened it, or just rolled it and sliced it, or rolled it and cooked it, and then sliced it after it was cooked. And I was kind of like, I wonder if we can make our own homemade apple jelly pockets. But anyhow, this video is getting long because I like to talk, especially when there's a lot of stuff in my mind, and I'm like, coffee makes the brain go. As well as other things. But yesterday was fun. I don't know what Mom's going to do. Mom's probably going to do her normal relaxing and whatever she does in her room. And Jerry's going to relax. I talked to Jerry this morning before I came in here. And I was like, after I get done with making a video, I want to start laundry. And Jerry was... Do you really need to start laundry? It's not like you have to have work clothes or anything like that. And I was like, well, I am wearing my last clean pair of pajama pants. And then we asked Alexa, I'm glad I don't have one in here, otherwise she'd be chiming, what the weather's going to be like. And today's supposed to be a high of 70, but tomorrow is a low of 66, 64 with thunderstorms and whatnot. And I just kind of went, really? It's May. Why is it dropping below 68? So I might have to dig out a pair of sweatpants or something like that from the basket of winter clothes that I have waiting to go into the closet. We are that close to finishing the bedroom cleaning and purging. We just have to do the closet and then put stuff away. I'm going to try. I got a pile of clothes to put in bags for giveaway or yard sale. We're not sure what we're going to do because I'm like, the way the weather has been, it's kind of hard to do a yard sale because it's either going to be windy and blowing clothes all over the place, or it's going to be kind of muggy, warm, whatnot. Last week, we did have in fact, it was last weekend that we had 2 beautiful days where it actually got into the 80s, and I went, yay, it's getting warm, and then it went, and I went, what the? So it's kind of like, I want to put my winter clothes in the closet to get them out of the way so I have less clothes in my dresser. But it's still getting chilly. What? You know, it's like, that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of like, don't know what the weather is in Colorado, but I'm kind of thinking that Colorado might be a little bit nicer. I don't know. But then I'm thinking, because one of Jerry's friends from up north sent her a text message, hey, yeah, it's snowing. And I just kind of went, what? What? Well, they're closer to Canada, which means they get colder air at various times of the year. Plus, you get the cold air off the Great Lakes if they're living close to the Great Lakes. So, yeah. The weather and Mother Nature seems to be going into a tizzy. Anyhow, I'm going to cut this off because it's almost an hour long and I don't want another hour long video. So, excuse me. Sorry. Hopefully you enjoyed this little vlog, chit-chat, conversation, whatever you want to call it, for this video. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the comment box. If you're new to my channel and want to hear more, especially if you've been watching the Hygge series, I've taken a day or two off Hygge. In fact, I actually have a video from my last reading of Hygge that I need to put on here. So if you're enjoying that, and for those of you who know the traditional word for the English word Hygge, Hygge, go ahead and join. You'll get more videos here pretty soon. Just for, I don't know if I want to call it shits and giggles or not, but if you have a younger person who is dealing with various life issues or whatnot, go ahead and show them a couple of my videos. They might get some inspiration, especially when I'm talking about Hygge, because more and more people nowadays, especially here in the United States, are looking for ways of trying to find happiness. And I'm hoping that the whole book of Hygge will help those people. But anyhow, if you choose to join, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Once you click on that, a little bell will pop up, and click on that bell and YouTube will notify you when I put in my next video. So until next time, have a good day. Bye.